Monomer liquid and polymer powder, chapter 28 in Milady's Black Book. In this chapter, you'll learn about the chemical makeup of monomer liquid and polymer powder enhancements, as well as the specific tools, equipment, and supplies needed to perform the various services that would utilize these products. Liquid monomers and powder polymers can be applied in 4 basic ways: on the natural nail as a protective overlay, over a nail tip, over a form to create a nail extension, or it can be used to create beautiful nail art. Monomer liquid and polymer powder nail enhancements, also known as sculptured nails, are created by combining a chemical known as monomer liquid mixed with polymer powder to form a nail enhancement. You may also hear this product referred to as acrylic. Monomer. Mono means one and mer stands for unit, so monomer is one unit called a molecule. Poly means many, so polymer means a substance formed by combining many small molecules, which are monomers, into very long chain-like structures. They come in a variety of colors which can be blended and customized to your client. Monomer liquid and polymer powder products can be applied in the following ways. As I told you before, on the natural nail as an overlay, over a nail tip, on a form to create an extension, or to create small works of art on top of or inside a nail enhancement. A natural hair, pointed, round, or oval application brush is immersed in a monomer liquid. The natural hair bristles absorb and hold the monomer liquid. The tip of the brush is touched to the surface of the dry polymer powder, and as the monomer liquid absorbs the polymer powder, a small bead of product forms. This small bead is then carefully placed on the nail surface and molded into shape with the brush. The industry standards are ethyl methacrylate monomer liquid, or EMA, and the odorless monomer liquid. Methyl methacrylate, or known as MMA, is not recommended for use on nails and is not legal according to the state board rules in our state. Nail Manufacturers Council and the American Beauty Association have also taken a stance against the use of MMA liquid monomer as an ingredient in artificial nail liquids. MMA nail products do not adhere well to the nail plate. MMA creates the hardest and most rigid nail enhancements, which makes them very difficult to break. MMA is extremely difficult to remove. It will not dissolve well in product removers. Usually it's pried from the nail plate, creating more damage to the nail. The FDA also says not to use it. This is clearly the most important reason. The FDA bases their prohibition on the large number of consumer complaints resulting from the use of MMA nail enhancements in the late 70s, and they continue to maintain this position today. Polymer powder is made using polymerization, also known as curing or hardening. It's a chemical reaction that creates polymers. Initiators found in polymer powder, when activated by a catalyst, will spring into action and cause monomer molecules to permanently link together into long polymer chains. Creating polymers can be thought of as a chain reaction. It's also known as a polymerization reaction. The amount of monomer liquid and polymer powder used to create a bead is called the mix ratio. A bead mix ratio can best be described as dry, medium, or wet. The guidelines for mix ratios: 1 part of liquid to 1 part of powder is a dry bead. 1.5 parts of liquid to 1 part of powder is a medium bead. And 2 parts of liquid to 1 part of powder is a wet bead. Polymer powder is available in white, clear, natural, pink, and a bunch of other colors. The colors chosen for application will depend on the enhancement method being used. Nail dehydrator removes all of the moisture on the nail plate. You should avoid contact with the skin. It's a great way to prevent lifting. Nail primer is used on the natural nail prior to product application to assist in adhesion. There are 2 kinds of nail primers for preparing the natural nail for a monomer liquid and polymer powder nail enhancement: acid-based and non-acid or acid-free primers. When using a primer, never apply the nail enhancement product over wet nail primer. It causes discoloration. Avoid overuse of nail primers. Apply primer to the natural nail only. Check primer for clarity to ensure product integrity. If there's things floating in it, get rid of it, buy a new bottle. Never use primers that have debris floating in them. To apply acid-based primers, apply to the natural nail with a light dotting action toward the center of the nail. The primer will spread evenly. To apply non-acid or acid-free primers, apply to the natural nail covering the entire nail with 3 brush strokes. Abrasives. The term abrasive is used to describe nail files and buffers. All abrasives have a grit number. The grit number on the abrasive refers to how many grits of sand per square inch. The lower the number, the rougher the abrasive will be. The higher the number, the softer it will be. The different abrasive core materials will also change how an abrasive works. A coarse abrasive is 100 grit or lower. A medium grit abrasive is 150 to 180 grit. A fine grit abrasive is 240 or higher. A shiner or a buffer is usually 400, 1000, 4000 grit. It's used to create a high shine on a natural nail or a nail enhancement when no polish will be worn. A buffer usually has 3 sides. Nail forms. These are placed under the free edge of the natural nail and used as a guide to extend the nail enhancements beyond the fingertips for additional length. There are single use, often made of paper or mylar, and then they're coated with adhesive backs, or multi-use, and they're usually made of a pre-shaped plastic or aluminum, and they can be cleaned and disinfected in between clients. You're also sometimes going to use tips and then just overlay those with the acrylic. You learned that in your tips and wraps chapter, tips that are made from acrylonitrile butadiene styrene, ABS, or tennite acetate plastic are available in a wide variety of shapes, styles, and colors. The dap and dish. Monomer liquid and polymer powder are each poured into a special container called a dap and dish. The application brush, again, is a natural bristle brush, a Kolinsky, sable, or a blend of both. They can be round, oval, or square, and they come in a lot of different sizes. The most commonly used brush is a number 8 oval. Safety, you want to protect your eyes. Safety goggles protect the eyes from accidental splashes and flying objects. If you've ever cut a tip off with a tip cutter, you have probably seen them fly. A dust mask is designed to be worn over the nose and mouth to prevent inhalation of excessive amounts of dust. They do not provide protection from the vapors. Protective gloves. Anymore, we are to be wearing gloves for every service that we do as far as nails go. They can be disposable, they can be multi-use, but the ones made out of nitrile polymer are the ones that are the best to use. Store the monomer liquid and polymer powder products in separate covered containers. Dispose of these items according to local rules and regulations. Never dump monomer liquid down the drain. You need to soak it up in a paper towel and then throw the paper towel in the trash, outside preferably, because otherwise it's going to stink up your salon. Regular maintenance helps prevent nail enhancements from lifting or cracking. If the nail enhancements are not regularly maintained, they have a greater tendency to lift, crack, or break, which increases the risk of the client developing an infection or having other problems. When a piece or a section of the monomer liquid and polymer powder enhancement has broken, lifted, or cracked, it is repaired by filing the area and adding monomer liquid and polymer powder to it. It's called a crack repair. Proper maintenance must be performed every 2 to 3 weeks depending on how fast the client's nails grow. The nail enhancement is thinned down to blend with the new growth area of the natural nail. The apex of the nail is filed away and the entire nail enhancement is reduced in thickness to prepare for another overlay. Nail enhancements must remain strong and healthy and look good while your client's wearing them. Paying close attention to the application of apex, stress area, smile line, sidewall, nail extension, underside, thickness, and C-curve will help accomplish this. The apex is also known as the arch. It's the area with the most strength. The stress area is where the natural nail grows beyond the finger and becomes the free edge. The smile line is a curved line where the pink and white meet each other on a French manicured nail. The sidewall runs straight from the cuticle down the side or wall of the nail to the end of the extension. The nail extension underside is the actual underside of the nail extension. Thickness. The thickness of the nail enhancement should be rather thin if a client is to wear it comfortably while going about her day. We recommend about the thickness of a credit card. The C-curve of the nail enhancement depends on the C-curve of the natural nail. In the salon, a 35% C-curve is the average. The top surface and the bottom side should match perfectly. Don't have a nice curve on the top and then just flat across the bottom where it's real thick. Removing them, soak the enhancements off the nail using acetone or the manufacturer's suggested removal solution. Remove the enhancement and complete the service. After you remove acrylic nails, the nail plates may appear to be thinner. It's not an indication that they've been weakened by the nail enhancement though. The excessive flexibility, it'll be lost as the natural nails lose moisture over the next 24 hours, and the nail plates will appear to be thicker and more rigid. Odorless monomer liquid and polymer powder products are nail products that have little odor. They don't necessarily have the same chemistry as all other monomer liquid and polymer powder products. They use ethyl acrylic and rely on monomers that have little odor. Odorless products still do have a slight odor. You're going to want to use a dry mix ratio when you're using odorless products. If they're too wet when you put it on, your client might get a skin irritation or sensitivity. It takes forever for them to harden, so odorless products harden more slowly and create a tacky layer called an inhibition layer. Those of you that have done gel nails know what this sticky feeling is. It can be rolled off or filed away with 150 grit abrasive used from the cuticle to the free edge. You can get polymer powders in a wide range of colors that mimic almost every shade available in polish. You can custom blend to make the color that you want. Make sure that if you do this, that you maintain like a recipe card so that you can reproduce that again. Otherwise you could have a problem trying to come up with the same color. Nail art. 3D nail art describes any art that protrudes from the nail. When applying 3D art over nail polish, you will want the polish to be dried for at least 3 minutes before applying the art. You can add a top coat to the polished nail before you add the art if you would like the art to look matte when complete. Inlaid designs are designs inside a nail enhancement. They're created when nail art is sandwiched between two layers of product while the nail enhancement is being formed. You've learned about the chemical makeup of monomer liquid and polymer powder enhancements, as well as all of the tools, equipment, and supplies needed to perform the various services that would utilize these products. Liquid monomers and powder polymers can be used to place enhancements over a natural nail, over a tip, or over a form, as well as using it to create beautiful nail art. All it takes is a lot of practice.